Welcome back, YouTube. So, I did say I was going to try and get these out weekly, but I think the last one was maybe 2 weeks ago. But anyway, we are in Planet Fitness Aberbargate. We will be going through a pull session this morning. I am going on holidays today, so it's not leaving until about 6 o'clock tonight. So I'm coming in here nice and early, getting a pull session done, getting cardio ticked off, so nothing's being missed. We're still going to get all the non-negotiables ticked off first, and then we're going to obviously get everything, make sure everything's packed, double check everything, triple check everything, and then we'll be heading off to Mallorca for a couple of days, which I am going to do a little bit of vlogging, and I also am going to do a session out there which I will record as well, so bring you along for the ride. So big news is that I have decided to jump into a show this year. So the initial diet was Dubai, which is 9.5 weeks away. So there is a Two Bros show, Two Bros Regional, which is now in 14.5 weeks, and I'm going to jump into that show because I think I'm just dieting down already. I want to be as lean as possible for Dubai, and I've literally treated this like a prep so far. So the Dubai holiday, Dubai is one of those places in the world where you can just prep anyways. It's not an issue. Like, they've got meal preps, etc., so they can be sent to the apartment. So yeah, I will just be meal prepping out to Dubai, enjoying every single part of it. There's no reason why I can't enjoy every single part of it. Like, food isn't everything at the end of the day, but as long as the other experiences are there, like this time now we're going to think about going to a water park. We're going to go do some sightseeing, etc. So there's no reason you can't do these things in life and still be on prep. So many people have proven it before that they can do it. I've got a point to prove myself that no matter what comes my way this year, I need to get the job done. And when I say get the job done, just come in absolutely fucking peeled out of my mind. So that is going to be the goal, and that is going to be the achievement for the year now. So first exercise, we are going in with a T-bar row. So there's a top set and a back off set here. I am just going to film at the top set, and then we will have another chat. So the one thing I want to show you is how I track my sessions. So I always use my logbook. I don't like using any form of technology, so like, an app. I don't like using that just because I like the phone needs to be off and we need to be zoned in on a session. So old school logbook, the road to classic. So what I do is, if I have progressed, we've got the magic pen as well. So everybody would have seen these pens, and I had these in school probably. So if we progress, green is down. If we are staying neutral, so if we've matched the reps, then we're just getting a blue. And obviously then, if we have regressed, we don't like using this fucker, but the red goes down. At the moment, the session has been 1 red and 1 blue, so it's not a very good start, but this is just me being real and honest. And like I said, I know why at the moment it's not progressed. So, and that is purely down to lack of sleep, lack of energy from no food, and obviously training fasted. The other thing is, I also track my body weight on each session. Last time I did this session, which was obviously a week ago, I was 226 pounds. This morning I am 222.5. So, don't know if you can see it, but body weight, date, and obviously the program. This is how I track. So 3.5 pounds since my last session. So as the weight goes down, the body weight goes down. We're trying to obviously just keep performance as high as possible, because that's going to be the driving factor in, just make sure you see my face, that's going to be the driving factor in keeping muscle tissue. So that's just something we want to continue to do all the time. So next exercise is a landmine row, which I've got a glass back and I fucking hate it, but it's getting done. I gotta save my session now, because at the moment, 1 regression, 1 maintained, so at least need to beat 8 by her now. Come on. Ooh, I fall apart. Bit of a dodgy song choice that, isn't it? Come on. That is much more fucking like it. So, back is walking up, 2 reps up. Hopefully, anyway. I'll have to look at the VAR. Right, so back set. I'm not going to film all my back sets, to be fair, today. It's probably going to be all the top sets because back are boring, isn't they? To be fair, they're the fucking hardest ones, but if you're training properly. And that's one thing. So one thing I see a lot of in, you know, programming and people progressing and tracking their lifts is using the same weight for both sets. You know, if I look through somebody's plan, sometimes someone will have, say, like 40 kilo for 10 reps. And then the second set, then they're getting 40 kilo for 10 reps again. And I'm like, you're not training to failure. You're not pushing yourself to absolute failure. Like I just did, say 80 kilo in total, which, don't be wrong, is piss poor in terms of strength. But I hit 10 reps, so I know for certain now I'm already way too fatigued. There's no chance I'm hitting 10 reps again. So obviously reduce the weight slightly. This is a higher rep range on the back off anyways, 12 to 15. Last time I had 40 for 15 reps, which is the top of the rep range. So now we need to progress that. So obviously we're going to go up to 60. Big jump, to be fair, 20 kilo. But we'll try and get 12 reps out at least here now, just to hit that minimum range. And then that's something then we can gradually build up every session, sorry. Ah, 12 reps. So see, you can see that fatigue massively then. Like 10 reps there was a couple away from failure, obviously I had 12, but that was, you know, the fatigue levels there is no way I would have done 80 for another set, so something to take away. So another upper back row now. I believe this is it for the upper back, and then we will go into more lat focus exercises then. But with this hammer strength, it's a low row, so I think a lot of people think that because it's a low row, it's low back, but it's not. You'll see the strength curve of the machine, and you're pulling up, so it's very much targeting the upper back and also like the trap area as well. So I get a lot of trap engagement, which a lot of the time obviously you wouldn't want from a row, but from this low row here, I really like the trap engagement. It's an area which I need to bring up, to be fair, to make the back a bit more complete. So yeah, this is an exercise I really do like. So, and what we're trying to do here, full stretch yet again, same as the T-bar row, letting your chest obviously wrap around the chest pad, driving back. But what I try to do here is drive back and out, and then really squeeze at the back. So your upper back, sorry, just lights up then. So think about driving up from the bottom here, up and out. And then as you get there, you get a nice squeeze on the back at the top then. So, like I said about the other movements, just warming up. So put a plate on first just to warm up with, and then obviously we'll look at the logbook and add some timber. So that is the joy of doing warm-up sets as well. Like, you'll see me adjusting my hand in on the first couple of reps. First off, I'm too high up, so like I just have to adjust my hand to go down so I can feel it more, and I can obviously pull from the right areas. So now I know, going into my working set now, I know where I'm placing my hand straight off the bat. So, you know, I'm not ripping a weight out and then thinking, fuck, this is in the wrong position now. And having to adjust when I've got a lot of weight in my hand. So it's easier, obviously, with a little bit of a lightweight. Also, if you can hear any of this music, this playlist is awful. Oh well. Oh, in for the top set. The other thing I didn't mention as well is, in regards to this, you want to try and keep your spine as neutral as possible. So basically you want no thoracic flexion or extension. Now for people that don't know, thoracic extension is basically like the movement you would put yourself in to have like good posture. So just stood there. And then thoracic flexion is the bending over. So basically what I mean by just keeping it neutral is just keeping it in a straight position. You can have a bit of natural flexion and extension, but only the natural amount you want to occur, because the more thoracic flexion and extension you do, the more you're just literally just swinging the weight up and down. So if you can keep it neutral and then just driving back with that tiny bit of thoracic extension, then that's perfect. But you don't want to be over extending. So you're just going to be bringing other muscle groups in as well if you're doing it that way. So just try and keep it as strict as possible. So first working set, we're actually going up on here and progressing up, so hopefully we get a good rep range. I'm gonna have to check the film in there to see how many reps I was, but probably a bit too big of a jump, to be honest. I only used 2 plates last week, so it's probably a bit too much of a jump, but to be honest, I'm just gonna keep it there for the next few weeks and just build that up. I got 3 sets on here, so the next 2 sets can be near enough perfect form, and obviously rinsing the end ranges as well. 4th exercise now, which is the neutral grip pull down. The next 2 exercises actually are 2 exercises that I've probably forgotten about, to be honest, when it comes to training. Obviously there's so many different like machines, etc. to use nowadays, which are absolutely awesome. They're all got different strength curves, they're all built differently, so you know, some will always feel nicer for other people, but like I always grew up on the bread and butter, the old school, just barbells, dumbbells, a cable stack with obviously the odd different adjustment, maybe the odd mag grip here and there, but that was pretty much it. So I do like to go back to these like old school movements instead of doing a little bit too much on machines. And this movement feels absolutely unreal. Like This movement and the cable lower row, both really, really good movements. So this is an 8 to 10 and 12 to 15 also. And then we got 3 sets on the cable low row. Did think there was an next one in there then, but there weren't. The one thing to take notice of as well is when you see people doing the pull down, I see it a lot lately. There's a couple of people I've had to just help their form a little bit, obviously, which is why form videos are for. But as they're pulling down, so from this angle, they pull down and then crunch forward. Now you're just putting loads and loads of strain on your rotator cuff, which obviously has nothing to do with the exercise really. So you're trying to keep your chest nice and proud. Think about a puppet pulling your nipples up in the air. And you want to keep that back almost perfect the whole way through. Obviously you're gonna let it stretch at the top, but as you're coming down, you go straight back to that position and retract straight through the elbows. So you just bring the elbows down, straight down, and think about that elbow just going straight down into your hip. And you should be able to feel it a lot better doing it that way. Plus, it stops you from arching over. So a lot of people do it when they start to struggle, and to be honest, once you get to the point that you've lost it here, you're not getting anything from going just to finish the rep off. The only thing you're doing is risking injury. So if you can't pull it down any further, staying in this neutral position, that's it. That's your failure point. You're not going any further. So leave it there and then come back strong in the next session. But that was a nice 10, which is top of the rep range. So second set, 12, 15. One thing, these attachments. So you'll notice on this attachment that the handle comes in. So this is one of my favourite attachments when it comes to the cable row. So you've got the normal one, which is just straight up. And then you've got this one that's got the slight inwards look the way you might be able to see it. But obviously our goal to when we're cable rowing is literally just trying to feel like we're putting our elbow around the bottom of our back and trying to touch the elbows to the spine. So you're trying to almost just like scrape those elbows to your side. With that attachment, like, you don't have to think about it because it's already putting you in that motion where you crunch your lats, your lower lat really nicely. So if you've got one of these attachments in your gym or your training planet, this is definitely a nice movement to use. That was a set maintained. So to be fair, we haven't done bad so far. We had a little bit of a slow start, but the rest has been green. So far we will take it. But the next fight is going to be green. Last exercise for pull day. It would not be a pull day without a single arm pull down, would it? An exercise always gets, like, you know, either people fucking love it or people bash it constantly. I'm neither or. It's just another exercise. It does feel good, and I like to put at the end of this session, just because I just like to finish the lats off on you, so I don't actually go very heavy. Like, there's only 2 plates on you now, and I just make sure that I spend a lot of time in the lengthened range and the shortened range. So like just holding it there in that end range for like 2 seconds, same there, 2 seconds. Only reason being, like I said, I just like to use it to isolate the lat and just finish the lat off. Now there's so many different ways to perform the lat pull down as well, the single arm pull down. My interpretation of it, or the way I get the best out of it, is so I'll use the pad nicely, shift my hips forward, so I'm literally just neutral. Then I'll grab the handle, and then I'm just thinking about literally driving the elbow down into the lat. I will bias the side I'm pulling down a little bit, but not much, like just a little bit of a slight rotation to the left hand side when I'm pulling down with the left, but that just makes it easier to pull the elbow down into the lat, because you know your lat's already there, you're already in line, so you're just pulling it straight down into the pocket of the lat where you can just feel, I don't have to have any weight, then I can feel there, you know. But yeah, don't overcomplicate it. Just move slightly into that with the one side, whichever side it is you're pulling with, and drive the elbow straight down. So instead of thinking about driving your elbow back, just think about driving it straight down, and you'll feel a contraction so much more. So that is the session wrapped up. I am now in Planet's posing room, so it is check-in day, so I'm going to go through my poses now, take my check-in photos, send them off. I won't be filming it. But yeah, and then later I might just go through the feedback when we get the feedback. But yeah, 14 and a half weeks out now, so we're going to be checking in twice a week on a Tuesday and a Friday. Yeah, so I'm going to be taking them every morning in the same position, always in this changing room, just to make sure that obviously everything is consistent. I'm trying to think of the word then. But yeah, it was a good session. I didn't film the last 2 exercises just because it was 2 sets of bicep, 2 sets of tricep, and that's the same on every push day. So I've got a push day, a pull day, and an upper day. And I just put an exercise for bicep and tricep on the end of both, on all 3, sorry. I am going to be changing the upper day, and we're literally just going to be changing that to a chest and arms day. Delta's a good strength of mine, so it's not something that I really need to focus on building. If anything, it's probably a bit overpowering, so it would be good just to build the chest up a little bit more now to balance it out. And then I did have 2 leg days, which again, quads are probably one of my best body parts, and hamstrings and glutes are probably a weakness. So the thought process is probably to do a posterior day on that day instead. So it was going to be a push-pull legs, a rest, a chest and arms, and a posterior day, and then a rest day. So I have gone back to my roots, back to the coach that started this journey in the first place, the first person that got me on stage, which is Mr. Jay Davis, and he will now be taking over my prep from here as well. So obviously from the start, the first 3 to 4 weeks of me prepping has just been finding obviously baseline, etc., and finding where I'm at. And Jay knows me better than anyone, probably mentally and physically. So yeah, he's always supported me through everything, whether coaching or not, and it just makes sense. Also, I just like the thought of, again, like starting the bodybuilding journey with him, and him obviously taking me on stage the first ever time, to come in full circle now and bring in my best this year. And that is without a doubt that that's going to happen. Like, it was supposed to happen this year, it has happened this year already. I've had a bit of a rebound, which has been about 8 weeks, and then gone back in. So this is something that works a lot of the time, to be honest. Like, I put a post up about this the other day, but when it comes to people, people bulking, for instance, it's only going to get to a certain point where, like, the insulin sensitivity starts to drop off. Growth, it reaches its maximum before you have to do a bit of a mini cut to then push back up. And I think the same goes sometimes for a dieting phase. So for me, mentally and physically, I'd reached the end of the dieting phase. Personal things had been going on, made the last few weeks of prep really, really difficult, to be honest. More mentally than anything. Physically, it was still there. But obviously with lack of sleep, etc., then from the stress and the prep, like, it just ruined me, to be honest. It's not something I've talked about yet, and probably not something I will talk about, but it just wrote me off. So that little bit of a rebound for like 8 weeks, freshened everything up. And then obviously I've started coming back down now. So I was 222 this morning, which is actually only 17 pounds off my last stage weight. And we have got 14 and a half weeks until the show. So to be honest, I'm probably looking at, I want a good 25 to 30 pounds off. Just because I believe I probably had another 4 or 5 to come off when I stepped on stage last time. So when I get feedback, we will check back in and we'll go from there. But yeah, I'm fucking excited, to be honest. It's lit a fire in me. Jay's somebody as well, also always knows the right things to say to me, to get me fired up, to get me on it. And he gives me the honest truth, which is what you need, obviously, from a coach. Like, he even said himself, bro, you've got a point to prove now. And I think I talked too much then, so yeah, it just cut off. But he said to me, bro, you've got a point to prove now. And it's true, 100%. I've thought that myself as well. So just to have that reiterated by him as well, then just makes me realise that, it is something that it's not just in my mind, obviously it is in other people's minds as well. So let's prove the fucking point. Let's go. So that is the session wrapped up. Check and send over to Jay. Jay's happy. Obviously see him again. We're only a couple of days in at the moment, so a couple of days and 3 pounds down, so we'll take that. Nice little shift in body comp as well, which was nice. And yeah, from obviously I'm on holidays today now, so it's just a case of managing this holiday really well. We've got 5 days, so the approach is just going to be pro fats the majority of the day, and then an off-plan meal in the night, but just keeping that off-plan meal tidy as well. You can have a clean off-plan meal, and you can have a dirty off-plan meal. And yeah, it'll just be a case of like choosing a nice clean off-plan meal that's on there. So it's going to be extra calories, we know that, but if I mitigate the rest of the calories through the day, it should be absolutely fine. Like, I've packed some oats and some protein. Just to obviously make that post workout when I'm there. So I'm going to try and get a couple of sessions in when I'm away, just to stay on plan. And yeah, obviously it's just about mitigating the holiday, which Jay himself has just done now. So he's leading the way, I suppose. And it's a case of just mirroring that and doing exactly the same. And the goal is just to come back and actually progress by the time I come back, just to show that it can be done. So, birthday breakfast is, protein oats, carrot cake flavour, so still a bit of carrot cake in there, still a bit of birthday cake. Banana, 50 grams, 15 grams of peanut butter, and oats, obviously. It's been a long morning. But just going to go through check-ins now. So team's absolutely flying at the moment. So I'm literally just sat here in the office, and I'm going to scran this, get some check-ins done, and then enjoy the rest of the day then. So if you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully I'll manage to get some holiday vlogs in. But yeah, thank you very much.